Hey everyone, it's Eric. Welcome to episode 260 of the Sports Ballers podcast. Well, the Terps suck, the Wizards suck, the Warriors suck, and the Bills suck. What's going on? Maybe we'll find some teams that are actually good at their sports during this episode of the podcast. We've got other news too, college football coming up, a little bit of baseball award season, and that's about it. We'll do week 11 predictions as well. So stay tuned after this non-copyright band's music. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Sports Ballers podcast. My name is Eric Meyer and I am joined by Corey Puffett and Evan Nash as always. How are you fellas doing today?
Doing good.
Doing pretty well.
So we are a little bit, changing up the routine. We are at a different venue. We are at Evan's humble abode in Ellicott City instead of recording this at DeMatha, but that shouldn't change up our style much at all. We've got a lot to get to today. We've got week 11 to predict, week 10 to recap, much to maybe Evan's chagrin. And, a lot of college football nonsense going on. A little bit of Major League Baseball, some NBA news. Let's actually start, though. Just get this part out of the way. College basketball. I'll start with my Terps because they make me sad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Maryland went down to Asheville for a tournament and lost to Davidson as a double-digit favorite.
Was Steph Curry playing for Davidson?
Steph Curry hasn't played for Davidson in quite some time.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those days where I was happy that I don't really have that much care for Maryland sports these days, because that would have been really rough living with my wife after her alma mater beat what would have been my alma mater.
Oh. All right.
Well, we won't unpack what that means, but okay.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yes.
Well, regardless, she went to Davidson. She
Sure.
was very happy about the outcome of this game.
As
We
she
turned
should
it
have been.
on in
I
the
was-
latter part of the second half, and
I watched the whole thing. I watched from tip-off to the end of the game. I was sitting there at Looney's watching the whole damn game, and I was miserable. We tied the game. We were it was 61-61. Jameer Young drove to the basket, drew a foul, tied the game up. I was like, okay, here we go. We're gonna steal this one. We don't deserve to win. We're gonna steal this one. And then
that didn't happen.
And Dante Scott decided, well, he didn't decide, he's just always been like this, that he was going to play horrible defense again and gave up an open three because he overhelped off the corner. And
It's a good thing he came back for a fifth year.
get a job, man. So that was unpleasant, but okay, fine. Davidson has, Steph Curry or not, Davidson's been to the tournament and had a pretty good team recently, right?
Yeah,
a couple
they
years
last
ago,
year.
they were solid. It wasn't like they were just you got in because you're an automatic bid. They could have made some noise, but then after you have a stinker against Davidson Friday night, Maryland plays UAB. For those who are unaware, that's University of Alabama Birmingham, and they lose to them too.
Oh.
Also by 3 points.
Yes, but in worse fashion because they were trailing by double digits for significant parts of the second half. It wasn't until late in the game the Terps started to rally because UAB, being UAB, the moment got to them a little bit, and they started choking when the Terps started pressing. But ultimately, the Terps couldn't get it done. It was a sad state of affairs. Just an abysmal weekend. The haters were out and about, calling Kevin Willard the bald Mark Turgeon, which, I'm not ready to do that yet. It's only been, 2 bad games. But, the thing is, I thought about this a little bit after watching the Terps lose both games. But really after the first one, I was like, there's no reason to think that we're better or should be better than we were last year. We lost valuable players. We lost Hakeem Hart. We lost Ian Martinez. He transferred out of Maryland. He came here from Utah and then transferred out to Utah State, interestingly enough. So He's not here anymore. So the Terps did lose some valuable players there, and the players that they retained, namely Dante Scott, he's going to be a frequent victim of my grievances regularly this season, I imagine. He sucks. He can't play. He's been bad the whole time. Like there's never been a moment where I was like, okay, Dante Scott, that guy's big time.
He's going to school for free.
Yeah, going to school for an extra year for free instead of getting a job. Mm-hmm. And he's just out there just being the same guy he always was, which is just a bad basketball player. And it's frustrating. I'm not a fan of the fact that he returned. Obviously, what do you say when a guy says, "Yeah, I'll come back for another year"? You could say no, but that has negative effects with recruits because it feels like your coach isn't looking out for the players, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is he's not a particularly good player, and because he's got seniority, super seniority in this case, he seems like he's got some level of deference from the coach. He starts every game. He plays 30-plus minutes every game. He's involved in a lot of the actions. And I'm like, okay, he's not that good, though. Like, I'd much rather see some of the freshmen that have promise come in and have them make their mistakes and figure out how to play at this level and get them up to speed versus having Dante Scott blocking them. And the fact that Scott effectively is the reason why Ian Martinez transferred, because there was a roster crunch due to the fact that he and Jameer Young both came back and Maryland had recruits coming in. Ian Martinez felt like, okay, I'm not going to have a role on this team at this point, so he left. Well, Ian Martinez is better than Dante Scott. He's a more valuable player in his role than Dante Scott is, and we're just stuck with him. So, I kind of figured this year would be a little bit of a, don't get your expectations too high, right? Like, it's only year 2 of Willard's program. You still need a couple of years to build it, but it was frustrating to see the Terps lose two very winnable games against inferior competition. Like that does not portend good things for this season.
Sounds like Brandon Hyde insisting on playing Adam Frazier instead of Jordan Westbrook like all year.
I mean, sure, but Brandon Hyde won Manager of the Year. We'll get to that later.
I mean, yes, we will. I'm still frustrated with him, but yes, we will.
Okay, well, that's all I've got about the Terps Maryland men's basketball team. Evan, talk about your Jackets.
I haven't seen them play at all.
So you didn't put these notes in here then?
I did not.
Okay,
I put all these.
so Corey,
I put everything in here.
Corey did everything.
The only thing I think that was contributed to this that I did not type in was NBA, MLB, and Evan caught one mistake that I made in the college football section.
All right, well, apparently Georgia Tech beat Howard, so
yes,
good.
Barely.
Yeah, 88-85, wins a win, got it done. And then you lost at home to UMass Lowell, I should say. Not
the University of Massachusetts.
University of Massachusetts Lowell. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I've never heard of them before.
So y'all felt a 2-1. Sounds like Georgia Tech is off to a typical Georgia Tech start.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch them ever.
I meant to ask you before we moved on to Georgia Tech, Eric. 35% chance the Terps go dancing this year. Is that too high or too low?
35%. Man, it's hard to write them off that early. I'd say that's too low.
Okay.
I still think this team could make the tournament.
Okay. 35% chance the Yellow Jackets go dancing. Too high or too low, Evan?
That's way too high. It's about 34 percentage points too high.
All right.
What?
Right, well, there you go. Some other college basketball news. Number 2, Duke lost at home to number 12, Arizona on Friday. I saw parts of that game. The Blue Devils bounced back. Why are we using that kind of language in here? With a 74-65 road win at Michigan State.
I thought that game was in Chicago.
Well, I guess it's a neutral site game then.
Yeah.
All right, so this is why we should read the notes
Still
more.
on the road for them.
It doesn't count. It's not a road game. It's not a road game. It wasn't in East Lansing. It's not a road game. Duke managed to beat Michigan State. Michigan State fell from 4-18 after they lost a bye game early in the season. So at least the Terps didn't do that. They beat Mount St. Mary's, but whatever. Also,
Michigan State's not good this year.
Relevant news for DeMatha people. Number 1, Kansas improved to 3-0 with an 89-84 home win against number 17, Kentucky. Kentucky was up in the second half of that game, so
it was
nice.
also in Chicago.
Nice comeback. So also again, not a road game.
Hunter with some big stats in the game.
Not a home game. Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, he goes to Kansas.
Yeah, he transferred to
Kansas
Kansas after this last season.
And in that game, he had 27 points, 21 rebounds, and 3 steals.
So yes, and probably several obnoxious moments to add to that. I'm not bitter.
You should have gone to like a more obnoxious school than Michigan, like Notre Dame or somewhere.
Well, but he and Juwan Howard made Michigan obnoxious. He was a part of what made that team so unlikable. Like, let's call it what it is.
Was Michigan obnoxious before that?
I just
Not
think
really.
Michigan people are obnoxious. Like, I'm getting tired of them.
I think you might be conflating the basketball side with the football side.
So
Just all of it.
So does that mean you'll definitely be going to Big Noon Kickoff this week
No.
in College Park? It's right down the street, man. It's only a half hour away.
Yeah.
Go see your boy Urban Meyer
All right, he's gonna.
and
be there.
Brady Quinn and Matt
why is
Leinart
Urban Meyer going to be there?
because he's a part of the Big Noon Kickoff crew.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
They've
Herb.
they picked the worst people ever to be a part of this. Brady Quinn is a tool. Matt Leinart is a tool, and Urban Meyer is one of the most contemptible human beings of all time. And Clay Travis might show up. So all of that means
superfecta.
I will be gleefully avoiding College Park, not just because I have to. I have an obligation on Saturday. I also want to. I want no part of this. 9 a.m. this thing starts. The Big Noon Kickoff. Not going to be around. Have fun.
And they're going to be all about how Michigan's going to get their 1,000th win in program history.
They absolutely will. So before we move on to that, let's talk about the women's game a little bit. Unfortunately, the Lady Terps got dusted by number 1 South Carolina. Can't say I'm shocked.
No.
Because South Carolina's a wagon.
Yes, they are.
But, that's kind of what
Still,
you
you
could
never
expect.
like to see your team that's a competitive team lose by
Sure.
almost 40 points.
Yeah, 38-point deficit ultimately to South Carolina. They face soon-to-be not number 2 UConn, I imagine, because UConn just lost. But that will be a Thursday game. I'm assuming it's actually on the road.
I believe that it is in UConn, yes.
Okay.
Just like the game the other day was in South Carolina.
Okay, so number 2 UConn, as I mentioned, upset by unranked North Carolina State. It's probably the first time they've lost to an unranked team in a long time, I would imagine.
I would imagine so. I don't know. I don't know their entire schedule from last year, and obviously with Paige missing time last year, they were probably a little bit vulnerable, and maybe they could have lost one, but I have a hard time imagining that. So, it's one of those where you see an unranked team beat them, and not just by a few points, but by 11 points. You figure, maybe Maryland has a chance to go up there and win this game, but you also have to figure that UConn's going to be a little bit, fired up after that loss.
Yeah,
So,
coming off a loss is
not the time that you want to face a really good team.
not ideal, but the Lady Terps also are coming off a loss, so.
Yes, they are.
All right, so let's do college football. As I mentioned, Big Noon Saturday. Hey, coming to College Park. And they're not coming because of the Terps. They're coming because of Michigan. Number 3, Michigan at Maryland. As you mentioned, Corey, Michigan chasing their 1,000th program win in history, which would
Jim
be.
Harbaugh might not be on the sidelines for it.
He
Might
won't
not.
be.
He won't be.
Yeah,
he
he's
won't.
out.
He might not be on the sideline for the 1,000th win. He will not be on the sideline this weekend, which means that he will not be on the sideline for his.
They're
for
going
their
to win.
1,000th win.
They should swap out Harbaugh, the elder. They should put John Harbaugh, and then the Terps would have a chance.
Probably.
And then maybe the Ravens would also have a chance.
Also true.
Yes. Just, it's not too late, man. Just send them down on 95.
John doesn't have a game this weekend.
Yeah, but just pull him out of Baltimore right now. Just be like, hey, you're going to College Park tonight.
Yes, you cannot stay here for Thursday.
No, you got to go. All right. So Michigan's going to win. We all know that.
Yes.
Number 22, Utah at number 17, Arizona, 2:30 p.m. on the Pac-12 network, which I don't know if I have that, but if I do.
I thought that didn't exist. That's why the Pac-12 was breaking up.
I guess it still exists until it breaks up.
Well, either way, I don't know if I have it or not, but I'm not going to be tuning in. So, your boys, Evan, number 1, Georgia at number 18, Tennessee. We know how that's going to go. 3:30 on CBS. Georgia's going to roll.
Yeah.
Number 21, Kansas State at number 25, Kansas. Look at that. Kansas back in the rankings. Good for them. That'll be at 7 p.m. on FS1. And number 5, Washington at number 11, Oregon State. Another Pac-12 brouhaha at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. And then the Buffs, who suck now, by the way,
Yes,
are playing against
They
Washington.
were good before.
No, but like they look kind of cool in September.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
They were bad.
Winning games.
Their defense was bad.
Their defense was atrocious.
Really bad. Yeah. Anyway, the Buffs are playing Wazoo, Pac-12, or not Pac-12 after dark, because that's on FS1. But I guess it is after dark. It's Friday night.
Yeah, it's Friday night.
10:30 p.m.
Yep.
I won't be watching that either. Syracuse at Georgia Tech. Your boys, Evan, are y'all bowl eligible yet?
No, because we lost to Clemson.
Yeah, Syracuse
Bowling
and Georgia
Green
Tech are both
and
5-5, which means that this is a game for bowl eligibility.
Yes.
Well, you better win this week because
Yeah.
you ain't winning in clean old good-fashioned hate, right?
No.
Like, that's not going to happen. So
No.
if you want to have a bowl game between the Terps and the Jackets, y'all need to win because this could actually happen because the Terps
might
are probably
end up at the Quick Lane Bowl. You know?
I mean, if it's Georgia Tech versus Maryland, I don't care where it is. We're going.
The Starkville Green Egg Integrity
The
Bowl.
made-up bowl.
what if it's
We'll have it right here.
What if it's the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, right?
Well, then we're going. Yeah.
Where would that be played? In the Bahamas?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going. That's the rule.
Well, maybe-
Cancel Hollywood Nights. We're going.
Oh, okay.
You don't like the sound of that, do you?
No, I don't. Maybe we'll get the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa. Go down there.
Yeah, sure. I'm up for that. Whatever. But y'all need to win.
We're favored, so we're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, y'all need to pick it up, man, because I'm wanting this to happen for all of us as a crew. We can invite Sasquatch and Corey and just won't tell each other about it.
Yeah.
Well, you just told me.
Oh, but you don't care.
No, I don't.
You would show up for the lulls. Sasquatch might have a heart attack. All right. Let's move on. Actually, we don't have any college football rankings here. What's up with that?
Nobody put them in.
Oh,
Okay.
so that's on y'all.
It is.
And me too. I should have done it, but I didn't think about it. So let's do a real quick little baseball update. Season's over, as we know, but some relevant awards news. We only put, the Orioles stuff in here because that's all we care about. But Gunnar Henderson won American League Rookie of the Year unanimously. No surprise there. I think everybody kind of saw that coming. Corbin Carroll was his National League counterpart. Again, no surprise there. I think he was unanimous too.
Corbin Carroll was incredible this year. I mean,
He was great.
He kept Corey Frotton competitive in some of his games, even though he was never checking his lineup.
Oh, I know. I know. It almost cost me a title.
He tied him.
That helped me win a title. So, muchas gracias. So anyway, and also Brandon Hyde, your boy Evan Hyder,
Yes.
Manager
Hyder.
of the Year.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I mean, I guess good. He's done a lot of things well. I just
Oh,
wish-
he has.
Yes,
he has, huh?
Yeah. The
You would
the
never
leadership
know
in the
listening to
clubhouse
this
and whatnot.
The vibes.
Nobody
talk
listens
about
to
it.
this podcast, so that doesn't matter. But
We do.
he does some things well, like with the leadership and getting the guys together and believing and all that kind of stuff. But like,
And getting on Robbie Ray.
yes, getting on Robbie Ray. I guess Google that if you're so inclined, or use your imagination. I guess.
We're not going to say it on here because we can't.
You can't say any of it on here.
Because it was great.
Hot mics as well. What was it? 2021.
It was just
Nobody in the stadium.
it was great. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was one of the best things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. I would think I was watching that live.
I was too. It was awesome.
I just wish he didn't give so much credit to the older players on this rebuilding team, right? Like, Aaron Hicks and Adam Frazier aren't part of the future because they're also not on the Orioles anymore.
That's
Did they
true.
not deserve some credit for what happened this year? I mean, the older players maybe were really good leaders. Maybe they gave great advice to the younger players and helped to guide them, through this long season.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything on the field, right? We said this about Rougned Odor. He was a great clubhouse guy, and I'm like, well, just leave him in the clubhouse then.
You can still give them credit for whatever their contributions were. It's not a zero-sum game. Giving them credit does not mean that he's not also giving credit to the younger players.
But the younger players are sitting on the bench inexplicably.
So you're saying you wish that he didn't give as much playing time
Yes.
to those older players. Okay.
I thought that was clear, but yes.
Yeah.
He said he didn't want him to give them credit.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I used the wrong word, but yeah, too much playing time.
Okay.
Why is
fair.
Hicks out there missing signs in the ninth inning of a playoff game, for example?
Okay, but Aaron Hicks actually pulled his weight, much to my shock and to Corey's chagrin.
And my shock as well.
Yeah,
This guy's a bum.
I'm happy that he played well somewhere. I like Aaron Hicks. I was very frustrated with his, how his tenure with the Yankees ended, but I like Aaron Hicks.
Don't the Yankees owe him $80 million?
Probably owe him a bunch of money, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Hicks actually pulled his weight. I agree with Adam Frazier, especially once Westberg came up. I agree.
The other guy.
Ramon Arias.
Ugh.
Yeah, and even Jorge Mateo at times. I'm like, okay, some maybe we need to, to chill with putting these guys in the lineup. But, at the same time, though, again, I feel like personnel decisions like that, the general manager has to say too, and clearly, Elias did not have a problem with the way Hyder was running the team, and the results spoke for themselves. So he definitely deserved the award. It's not a postseason award, so everybody that's
clearly is not.
Everything that if everybody was like, "Oh, why didn't Bruce Bochy win?" I'm like, because Bruce Bochy in the regular season underachieved.
The Rangers were.
They barely got into the playoffs.
The Rangers were supposed to be the best team in the American League. Well, I guess the Yankees were. There's nothing in our notes about them.
Yeah, maybe
Corey
maybe
put something in there.
I did just put something in there.
The
but
Brian Cashman thing?
No.
Oh.
No, because we got an award too.
Hey, Garrett Cole won the Cy Young Award.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first Yankees since Roger Clemens. And also, by the way, congratulations to me, a little pat on my back, because I predicted him in the preseason to win this award, but only because I couldn't think of anybody else in the American League who actually had like a realistic chance. I was like, I don't think that Garrett Cole is going to get it, but he's probably the only person in this group who might win it, and he did.
He was great this year.
Shohei could have if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
or if he didn't give up all those bombs to the Orioles.
That's true. He did give up a lot of bangers.
He had a few really bad starts. Like his last 3 starts were all horrible.
Blake Snell was the National League counterpart. I think he won the Cy Young unanimously too. It was just everybody winning unanimously. There wasn't wasn't
no
a whole
controversy this year.
No, and I agree.
Boring.
Like Cole deserved it. Like I didn't pick Cole because I got tired of picking him and he never won. So
yeah.
And I kind of gave up. I was like, somebody else is gonna step up and win it again, like they always do. And then Cole.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. Yeah, but hey, the Yankees were still not very good.
No, we were not.
So I'll take that. All right, let's do a little NBA before we get to professional football. One topic. Go ahead. You got something else?
I got the college football rankings. Georgia leapfrogged Ohio State this week, so they switched spots
because they just beat Ole Miss pretty
Ohio
handily.
State played whoever they played.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's
Missouri's
usually
number
how it
9.
happens. You
now.
play whoever you play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's true. Yeah, Missouri's jumped up to 9 and Louisville is 10. So. But
okay.
else is the same.
All right, sweet. Well,
Is Lamar Jackson playing for them again? Like, what's up with that? How is Louisville in the top 10?
They're in second place in the ACC. They're 9-1.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
And Jimbo got fired.
Oh, right.
yes,
Yes.
that's right. How did we not mention that? Yeah, of course.
I just did. I just remembered it. Jimbo got fired. So,
Haha.
hey, good luck for finding a new job. I'm sure he will find one quickly.
I'm sure he will.
Why
Jimbo.
does he need a new job? He gets paid in full.
That's right. He's just chilling on a big stack of money.
Right.
Texas A&M paid him so much bread, and now he's gone.
But if he doesn't get a new job as a coach in college football, he doesn't get to continue to complain about how unfair it is that college football players can now earn money.
But he was leaning into the NIL stuff.
Was he?
Yeah, because Nick Saban was griping about that because A&M was actually pulling as good or better recruiting classes than Alabama was. I think you're thinking of Dabo Swinney.
I am, yeah.
Dabo's never getting fired. They're going to build a statue with that man in
The
Clemson.
other Bo.
Yeah.
First name.
Who Evan hates, and I don't blame him. I'd hate him too. I don't like him.
He's a lot.
And he also plays in your conference and beats your team's ass all the time.
We had the lead against Clemson this past Saturday.
Ooh.
For the first time since 2014. We played Clemson every year and never had the lead in any of the games in 9 years.
I made money off of Clemson playing Georgia Tech. I said it on right here on this show.
Birdie told you,
I didn't need a little birdie to tell me. I figured it out on my own. Corey is continuing to show me highlights of Angel Hernandez blowing calls, which, dear Lord.
I was right in the middle of the plate.
I saw it. We all see it. We all see it.
No, not Angel Hernandez. He don't see it.
No, apparently not. Maybe he does and he's just trolling. I don't know. It's hard to imagine somebody's
You can't
actually.
be trolling and then suing Major League Baseball for not giving him
Sure, you
playoff
can.
assignments.
Of course, you can. That's even more trolling.
I feel like that
Doubling down.
But like you take it to court though, don't you get like charged with perjury or something? You just make up the whole thing.
Yeah, they have to prove you made it up. Just saying, you got to prove it.
Wasting everybody's time.
All right, Draymond Green.
Oh, jeez.
He's going to be the new Antonio Brown of this podcast.
Yes,
every
Draymond.
week.
Use your brain for 5 seconds. All right, you're a basketball player. This isn't the UFC. Like, why are you just running around choking people? What are you doing?
Hey man, Larry Bird and Dr. J choked each other in the middle of a playoff game,
40 years ago.
and it was great.
Okay,
So
there's a lot of stuff that was great 40 years ago that we don't want to repeat again.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dr. J and Larry Bird play basketball.
Now,
Not as geriatrics, no, but
okay.
Two players of similar caliber, going at it and choking each other out in the middle of a playoff game. That'd be great. Like Jason Tatum choking Joel Embiid. That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
I guess, but Draymond doesn't do anything else other than act a fool.
I'm not arguing the point.
Right? He's just running his mouth and now choking people. Just add that to the list.
So anyway.
And the guy he choked was Rudy Gobert, who also acts a fool all the time. Or at least one time when he ended the world in March of 2020.
Yes, indeed.
Just belittling the seriousness of the pandemic.
And then causing it. Yeah. That was
Spreading it.
So anyway, the context was that the Warriors and the Timberwolves were playing a NBA in-season tournament game last night. It was in San Francisco, and before the game really even got going, like it was like a minute in, I don't think any points were even scored yet. Jaden McDaniels and Klay Thompson got into a little bit of a kerfuffle where they were grabbing each other's jerseys and kind of swinging each other around by them. So that turned into a little bit of a conflict. Both of them were thrown out of the game.
Oh, just then?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were tossed, because that was what led to, and so Rudy Gobert was standing kind of nearby-ish, and so he kind of stepped towards it to kind of try to, break it up. And Draymond saw his opportunity and came up from behind him and put him in a chokehold. And, that was something else. And we got to talk about the softness of Karl Anthony Towns, who did nothing about it while his teammates being gagged. He just kind of stood there and was like, "Hey, buddy, can you stop doing that?" And I'm just like, can you get in there and do something, man?
You need to choke Draymond.
Yeah, you're 7 foot tall, man. Make something happen there. But anyway, Draymond got kicked out after that too. The NBA is reviewing his situation. Suspension seems inevitable, right? Like he's probably gonna sit at least a game.
A game.
Yeah, a game.
Okay.
A game.
What?
Yeah,
no,
a game.
He doesn't need to worry about playing again in 2023. Just
You
get
think
out of
he
here.
should sit until January?
Yeah.
They're not gonna sit him that long.
What? There's always problems with Draymond. Always.
Yeah.
And the NBA has done what?
They suspended him for a playoff game back in April.
Okay. Well, I mean, he needs to sit for a while because this is unacceptable behavior.
Draymond Green is a lightning rod for the NBA. He draws eyeballs on social media. People are having a great time with him choking out Rudy Gobert.
I thought the B was for basketball, right? Like this isn't a basketball problem.
Right.
He's not playing poorly, and that's the reason he needs to sit. No, he's
not playing well either. But
well, maybe he's playing poorly and needs to sit. But you can't do this, right?
You would think that he would know he can't do this, but anyway, it did kind of add. Gobert actually said something. He spoke some real truth to power for a moment where, something that I have noticed and a lot of people have noticed is that Draymond is always in such a hurry to get himself kicked out of a game if Steph's not playing. Right? Like if it's a game where Steph rolls an ankle or something like that, and so he's like, okay, well, Steph's out for the game. He might come back in a couple of days. As soon as that happens, Draymond's like, all right, I'm getting too technical, so I'm getting up out of here. And so, Steph's not playing. He's, got a sore knee. And so he was sitting this game. I think he's going to miss the next game too, but he'll be back after that. And so first thing Draymond does is he finds an excuse to go choke Rudy Gobert and gets kicked out of the game and probably will be kicked out until Steph comes back at least. And so he's found his happy place.
At home.
Yeah, on the couch, hanging out with the fam.
With Zion Williamson?
Zion's playing.
Oh,
And he's
playing.
balling.
Really?
Zion, when he plays, balls.
Okay.
It's the when
How
he
many
plays
games
part.
have there been?
10 to 12, depending on the team.
Okay.
So, not many.
Mm-hmm.
This could just as easily go sideways tomorrow, and we'll just never see him again. Distinctly possible. It's happened before. Happened last year. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's a recurring trend. And Gobert straight up called him out. He said, yeah, whenever Steph is out, Draymond goes out of his way to get kicked out of the game. And it's like, yeah, that's what he does. It's his favorite thing to do.
This is unprofessional.
On the plus side, the Warriors finally got a performance of more than 20 points per game from someone not named Steph Curry. Hadn't happened all year. Like through their first 11 games, they had 11 performances of 20-plus game points, and they were all by Steph. Nobody else ever scored more than 20 for them until yesterday, and it was a rookie off the bench, right? So Andrew Wiggins didn't do it because he's terrible. Like he scored 9 points, he took 15 shots. That's abysmal. Draymond obviously didn't do it. He wasn't in the game. Klay didn't do it. He wasn't in the game. Klay Thompson hasn't scored more than 20 points in a game yet this year. Like, tell me he's not washed.
He had all those injuries, you know.
Yeah, that's called being washed.
And he's older than us, right? He's 35-ish or something?
I don't think he's 35. I think he's 33.
Oh, okay.
33, 34. So basically our age, but, you know.
If he's 33, he's ancient.
We work behind desks.
Yes.
He runs around and plays against top peak physical conditioned athletes all the time and is supposed to keep up. Mm-hmm. And he can't do it anymore. He stinks. Andrew Wiggins, I don't know what his excuse is. He's supposed to be in his prime. He's just playing terribly. But, yeah, the Warriors they started off 6-2, and they've lost 4 straight. So
February 8th, 1990 for Klay Thompson.
Okay, there you
He's
go.
33.
So slightly older than you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I got about the Warriors. That's all I got about the NBA. Everything else is not really that interesting. I didn't bother to find out what the in-season tournament actually is because I don't care. All I know is the Clippers already got eliminated.
Jeez.
Did the Wizards qualify for the in-season tournament?
I think
Every team is in it. Like, every team has a court for it.
I mean,
yeah, everybody's in it. Yeah,
Georgia Tech missed the ACC Big Ten Challenge a couple times, despite being in the ACC.
Yeah, but
no, everybody is in the
Yeah.
in-season tournament because it's pool play. Like I said, it's like the World Cup.
right.
There's 6 groups, 3 in each conference
And
of 5
somehow
teams.
the Clippers are already eliminated.
Yeah, because they lost their games already, and they're like, oh, you can't make it now. You can't win pool play, so you're done.
So what does that, like...
You're gonna ask me questions about this beyond this, and I don't know. All I know is they got eliminated.
I need to understand, like, they're still going to play... Like, all these teams, they've already scheduled all 82 games. Like, you're not going to change who they're playing at any point. So how does this... Like, how does it work? I don't understand how the quarterfinals are going to work or the semifinals. I know that the 2 teams that make it to the championship game will play an 83rd game
Yes.
to determine who wins the in-season tournament.
Yes.
But, like, what if one of the semifinals is, I don't know, the Bulls and the Bucks, but they've already played all of their games during the season to that point. How are they going to play again for that semifinal matchup?
Well, I think they've ensured that they can schedule it so that if you have a regular season game penciled in and that's now a semifinal game, y'all are good.
So
how long is the group
continue
stage? Like, when does the tournament end?
I don't know, Corey.
I was under the impression like this goes through basically the entire season.
It doesn't go through the entire season.
Oh, so like if the Bulls and the other team you said, where
The
was
Bucks,
the
just
Bucks,
as a
yeah.
hypothetical, yeah, because that's not going to happen.
If they
Are the Bucks that bad?
The Bulls are that bad.
like their matchup in say March, that wouldn't just be a tournament game, and then the NBA Cup would be handed out right before the playoffs.
I think the NBA Cup is going to be handed out earlier in the season. It's not going to make it to March. Again, you're asking me questions. I already told you I don't know. I just know the Clippers are done. That's all I know.
Are the Wizards still alive?
I think so because they just haven't played enough games in the tournament yet. I think they've only played 1. They might have won that game because they're playing the Hornets, and the Hornets are cheeks. Of course, naturally, the Wizards split a home and home against them because they can't bother to beat them twice. But
But they won the in-season tournament one.
I don't know.
Potentially.
Again, you're
We
asking
might
all
know.
these questions.
Who
I don't
knows?
know.
Yeah.
I told myself I'd look it up, and then I said, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
What's a taxi squad?
Taxi squad's more important. This is nonsense. Okay.
Taxi squad of players who are not allowed to appear in your starting lineup in a fake football league is more important than this in-season NBA tournament.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Thank you. You're acting like I'm saying something crazy here.
It sounds crazy, but it's not.
I didn't come up with the stupid idea to have this in-season tournament anyway. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. I'm
blaming you.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's do some NFL stuff. Evan, I will give you a little bit of grace here. I'll start with my stupid team. The Saints lost to the Vikings, who have Josh Dobbs as their quarterback, and apparently he's just awesome.
Aerospace engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. I like Josh Dobbs. He's fun.
Great.
Yeah,
It's fun.
So Saints lose. Derek Carr gets hurt. We all know what that means, baby. He's back. Yeah. He's back, and it was as glorious as ever. He threw the greatest touchdown pass of all time, and it was only so great because he never should have thrown the ball. It was
The
just
one back across the field.
that was so stupid.
Somebody said nobody else would ever do this. I'm like, we've seen Patrick Mahomes make throws like that before.
Yeah,
Mac Jones
And it actually makes
like
more
that
sense
all
when
the
Patrick
time.
Mahomes does it.
yeah, because Mahomes is Mahomes.
Jameis almost threw a pick on it, but it worked.
But he didn't though.
He didn't.
He threw 2 other picks later, but you know.
No, the best throw of the game though was the first touchdown pass he threw to Chris Olave in the back corner of the end zone. That was
money.
a dot.
Yeah.
And it was a great catch by Olave on the other end.
Yeah, I want Jameis to start every week.
He should have been starting all the time.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's not actually good.
No,
but he's fun.
No, he's not good, but he gives you a
He's
chance.
the bad habit. that
Either
you know
way,
you shouldn't want,
ceiling.
but you want him so bad.
I want my fantasy players to do stuff. You know, if he throws picks, that doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
You know, get down the field, throw deep balls to Chris Olave. I'm tired of Derek Carr throwing the ball out of bounds and then screaming at the receiver for not being Inspector Gadget to go catch the ball. You know, I've had enough of that. I'm done with him.
What if the receiver was Mr. Fantastic, though, instead of Inspector Catch?
Doesn't matter because he's still throwing the ball out of bounds.
Pick somebody with extendo arms. I don't care. Just, you know, the bottom line is the quarterback needs to throw the ball to the receiver in a position where he can catch it, you know, as a normal human being.
Yeah, as in the field of play.
Yeah, or at least close to it. Okay, that's all I really have on the Saints. So, Evan, I hope I bought you enough time to get your thoughts together here about
boys. I was actually thinking about what you were saying.
Oh.
The Ravens
For
blew
once.
another game. Yeah, I was paying attention. Yeah, the Ravens blew another game. This time to Cleveland. Let's see, the Ravens led
By 14.
Well, the Ravens led had to lead with 14 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
That was 14.
They were up 24-9 at one point.
Yeah, it was 24-9 and
Wow.
17-3 and all of that. Yeah, we didn't win.
you did
Somehow,
not.
you know, can't.
You didn't win even though Dustin Hopkins messed up an extra point fairly late in the game that would have tied it, but instead left them down by 1.
Mm-hmm. I mean, turns out it didn't matter. Yeah, so I cannot understand why this team can't finish. Is it that they're not practicing hard enough, or that they're undisciplined, or that they're, you know, just going out there expecting to just roll over everybody
The
and then
offensive
take their
line
foot off the
was
gas?
horrible in the fourth quarter, and
Yes.
Lamar Jackson held the ball for way too long on every play in the fourth quarter. Like, it was a combination of the two things you cannot have in the passing game: a bad offensive line play and a bad quarterback play.
Well, you know, if the offensive
Tough to
line
win that
didn't suck so bad, you know, maybe they take Mrs. Tui's advice and run the dang ball.
What happened to your defense, man?
Oh, yeah. They went on vacation. I don't know where they went.
Looking ahead to Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Just like, hey, we're kicking their ass early. Watson throws a pick 6 right out the gate.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're
That was
good.
I've
was
never
a really
seen
nice play by
anything
Kyle
like
Hamilton.
that.
Yeah.
That was freakishly
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, it was
Tipped
Right.
it to himself,
Like-
caught it. That was a great, just strolled into the end zone the
Yeah.
last 3 steps.
It was really cool.
Yeah, Ed Reed never did that. Like,
Your boy.
yeah.
I guess we have a new greatest safety in Ravens history.
No, we don't.
Well, they already had that with Jimmy Smith, so. Yeah.
Jimmy Smith was a good corner when he was healthy. You know.
You had Ladarius Webb. He was a corner, right? He
Oh,
stunk.
jeez.
He couldn't cover anybody.
Yeah, there was always Webby on Antonio Brown, and like, well, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, no. That sounds like a horrible idea.
Yeah, and
That's the strategy of we already know that Antonio Brown's going to get his, so let's just shut down everybody else.
They didn't do that either.
No,
Yeah,
they
that
didn't. It didn't work.
So yeah, Ravens hosting the Bengals tomorrow night. I'm picking the Bengals. Just a little,
Little preview.
little preview.
All right.
Dumb team. As soon as I picked them to cover, they're like, nah.
I noticed that. I was like, wow, Evan actually picked the Ravens to cover, and they not only failed, they lost.
Yes.
They epic failed.
So y'all know I've been all over your boy Harbs all year.
I mean,
Check.
yeah, I feel like he's got to stand up there and take responsibility for why the Ravens lose so many games that they have no business losing.
Your team has had a historic level of how often they've led the game.
Yeah.
Right? And they're the only team of that group that had one loss, let alone three.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, all those other teams were 10-0 and went on to win the Super Bowl.
Or at least come close.
Yeah,
right?
or got close.
Like the 84 Dolphins lost, the 07 Patriots lost, right? But
The 84 Dolphins, they lost to Washington.
no, they lost to the 49ers.
Oh.
The 82 Dolphins lost to Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all you got, Evan? Or because
I guess.
we'll let Corey bask in some glory. They had a nice win. Talk about your loins.
Just a great offensive performance in that game. Defense didn't play that well, but playing against a good offensive opponent in the Chargers. Eckler is like truly back at this point, playing very well. Keenan Allen went bananas in that game.
Yeah, y'all didn't have an answer for him.
No, we did not. So, but the offense stepped up and did what they needed to do. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both played great. So, we were able to rely on the run game, which has been a really important part of our game plan every week. Jared Goff has done a good job of managing the game and stepping up and making big throws when he needs to. But being able to rely on the run game, allowing that to set up the play action, allowing that to keep defenses honest, so that the passing game can open up. And Amon-Ra St. Brown got one of the game balls because he's just a Swiss Army knife. I mean, we use him in all kinds of different ways. He's sort of, being used in a Deebo Samuel role for the Lions at this point. Like, we're using him in the run game. We're using him on jet sweeps and reverses. We're throwing the ball to him down the field. In short yardage situations, sometimes we give it to David Montgomery right up the gut, and sometimes we bring Amon-Ra St. Brown across the formation. We hand it off to him, and he just takes it wide off tackle. Sometimes we bring him across the formation. Defense thinks that that's what we're going to do, and we give it up the gut to Jahmyr Gibbs. So it's, Ben Johnson has just been doing a fantastic job as the offensive coordinator this year. It's going to be a shame when he is not our offensive coordinator next year because he's going to be one of the hot head coaching candidates this offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
He might be the first guy hired.
He should be because
when
he's been
we get
incredible.
to that point because he's been fantastic.
You have more?
No, that's pretty much
Okay,
it.
because I just have a quick Woj bomb. Go back to what we were discussing earlier. The NBA is suspending Golden State's Draymond Green for 5 games. Ooh. So not quite till January, Evan. Sorry to let you down, but at least probably through Thanksgiving. So there you go.
Interesting.
Fun fact. Okay, so let's get to some other NFL what happened around the league stuff, which, things happened, I guess. Other news and notes, let's talk about Deshaun Watson first. His last gasp of a season, which has been a joke so far because he can't seem to decide when he wants to wake up and play football. Well, he woke up and decided to play football.
The Ravens are the butt of the joke.
Yes, and so the Ravens somehow managed to lose to that goofball, but at least they did us all a solid, and they broke his shoulder, so he's out for the year. There you go.
Yeah, he's done for the season.
So I don't know what happened to P.J. Walker, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to be starting in his place.
Yeah. Anybody who's not familiar with him, we saw Dorian Thompson-Robinson briefly in the Hall of Fame game against the Jets.
We saw that?
I did.
Corey saw him.
Yeah.
I was doing something else.
I think I had it on the TV, but I was...
So he's a rookie,
look at my
and so I figured that this is. I mean, PJ Walker may still be there. I didn't look, but they probably just want to kick the tires on this rookie who.
Sure.
I think they drafted him in maybe the 6th round this year, but.
Yeah. Dorian Thompson-Robinson played against the Ravens in Cleveland a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, I don't think anybody's going to be crying crocodile tears over Deshaun Watson except for maybe some sad Browns fans. Other news, on the positive front, Devon Achane, Justin Jefferson, and Pat Freiermuth have all been designated to return from injured reserve. That's good for my fantasy team. I think that's good for your fantasy team, Evan. You've got Jefferson, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just spent some fab to pick up Pat Freiermuth.
So you got Muth, so there you go.
The Muth. Yeah, I'm going to set the Muth loose if he does play this
sake. Come on. Jeez. All right. Other news, Justin Fields might return from his thumb injury. I don't even want to read this last one because I'm so tired of it. Robert Saleh says if Aaron says he wants to play, he's going to play. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back this year, okay? I don't care what he says. I don't care what, magical herbs and spices he put on his Achilles. He's not going to be ready for this season.
So the reason that I put this in here is because this should be the nail in the coffin that gets Saleh fired.
Oh, so you're on the fire Saleh train.
Because
Welcome to the club. I
if
love
you
getting coach fired. It's my
if
favorite
you are
thing.
a head coach in the NFL, you have a guy who you brought in to be your franchise quarterback for at least the next year, if not longer. You've got a guy who says that given everything that the Jets have given up in order to acquire him, he feels like he owes it to the organization to play multiple seasons. Why would you jeopardize his future, your organization's at least short-term future, by putting him out there in a unimportant late-season game? The Jets will be eliminated by then.
I'm counting on that.
Why would you put him in there at that point?
Maybe he's seen Zach
Just
Wilson
because
play.
he wants to play. You're the head coach. Part of your job is to protect your players from themselves. Players want to play. Obviously, he's going to want to play.
Aaron Rodgers keeps talking about this for one reason and one reason only. It's not because
he wants to stay relevant.
It's
Attention.
Okay.
This is why he went to the Jets in the first place.
Yes.
Get attention.
Tom Brady retired last year. For real. Like, he ain't playing football anymore. When that happened, Aaron Rodgers sort of took the mantle as the elder statesman face of the league, right? Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is he's the young guy.
He's the face of the league.
Right, but like Aaron Rodgers is that guy, right?
The old quarterback.
Right, like Brady was that guy for about 10 years. Like he and Manning shared it for 15 before that.
Yeah.
And then Brady steps aside after 25 years almost of being one, if not the face, one of the two faces of the league. That was Rodgers' opportunity to step in and say, okay, I'm going to go to New York now. I'm not going to play in Green Bay. I'm going to go play in the biggest media market in the world, or the country at least.
Plays.
And so he gets hurt before the season really even gets started. And so now he's on McAfee every week. And of course, not only is Patrick Mahomes surpassing him in terms of clout, the friggin' tight end that plays with Patrick Mahomes is surpassing him because Travis Kelce is not only a phenomenal football player and one of the more gregarious stars we have.
But he's dating one of the
he also
biggest
happens,
superstars
he also happens to be
ever.
maybe dating the most famous woman on the planet. So there you go. I mean, he's ceding ground. That's why he's talking smack about him doing the Pfizer commercials. He's trying to he's trying to pull at Kelsey's cape a little bit.
He's been knocking Kelsey for the commercials?
Yeah.
Kelsey's commercials are great.
But he's knocking him for stumping for Pfizer, because they made the vaccines and Aaron's an anti-vax guy. So that became a whole thing. And now he's been leading us on to think he's going to come back to play football. Well, let me remind you, an Achilles injury is a year-plus recovery. It's not
for
2 or 3 months.
But they used this like super innovative surgery here.
So
that's going to change the world.
It's not, though. Like, maybe the time of between, okay, you had surgery and you can start rehabbing, that might be shortened. But the rehab is the vast majority of the time.
But he's already throwing the ball downfield without a boot on, Eric.
I don't care.
He's walking
Jamarcus Russell could sit on his fat ass and throw the ball 80 yards on a bucket. That doesn't mean he's ready to play football. Wasn't ready for anything. Get on my face with this, Rodgers. I'm being a clown, man. Just do some commercials, have some fun, go on another ayahuasca binge or a darkness retreat.
Bender.
Yeah, whatever you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, so
Just stop talking.
a little bit of other news. Bills fired Ken Dorsey, their offensive coordinator, this week after they had yet another disappointing loss to the Denver Broncos, of all people.
It was one of the most hilarious football performances I have ever seen in my life. It was glorious.
I was so glad I was watching the Mannings during that.
It was so bad that it was glorious.
Like, I love the Mannings, but I especially love them during a silly game. Like Buck and Aikman, you kind of want them for the big field games.
Yeah.
This was not a big field game. This was, I can't believe this is happening. I want the Mannings for this one. I want Iguodala here, right? That's the situation. So that was great. But Ken Dorsey thrown under the bus, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the Bills' offense is underperformed without question.
But how much of that is really on the offensive coordinator and how much of that is on the quarterback?
I mean, Josh Allen has underperformed. He's leading the league in turnovers this year. He's consistently
leading
been
the league in turnovers since the start of last season,
and the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and the year
Yes.
before, and the year before. Like, since he came into the league. So yeah, again, feels like a little bit of a scapegoat. You guys know that I absolutely love getting coaches fired. And you know that I love calling for coaches to get fired when I think they should be, because I think that makes the league a better place, is when you have a higher standard. The Grim Reaper's calling for Sean McDermott.
Is it?
This one is. I've been doing it for a little while. Y'all scoffed at me when I suggested, Sean McDermott should be on the hot seat this year. He ruined their Super Bowl run during the 13-second comeback in Kansas City. And everybody acted like, well, that was just Patrick Mahomes. Like, come on. You just had to reroute those receivers once, and that wouldn't have happened. And they
Jam them at the line.
jam them, make them do something to get open. Okay, but whatever. That's one gaffe in what had been an otherwise pretty good tenure. This is going to be the second straight year of them underachieving. Right? Like, we picked them to win the Super Bowl last year.
5-5. Like, they're not
going to make
underachieving.
the post.
They have the same record as the Raiders.
I know.
Yikes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And what happened to the Raiders coach?
He gone.
He got fired. So, and the new guy's 2-0.
Yeah.
So I'm
a new
just
guy who was not on anybody's head coaching radars before now.
like Sean McDermott. Let's face it. He's got, this isn't, Earl Weaver yelling at the other, I've won more than I've lost, which wasn't true, at least in terms of World Series.
No.
Sean McDermott's had more moments that have made me shake my head than to say, yeah, that guy can coach. This is, remember, I'm pulling back some old history here, but it's not from that long ago. This is the same guy that benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman in the middle of a season that they were making a playoff run.
Oh.
Like, I have not forgotten that.
I don't know if I necessarily agree that he's had more moments that made me shake my head than I've had moments where I thought that he was a good coach, because I have to look back at like his early years with the Bills where like it was pretty consistent. I think he's a good coach, but I am thinking like right now I've got like Russell Westbrook in my head, and like when he came to the Wizards, what you said, Eric, he's a floor raiser. He is not a ceiling raiser, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what Sean McDermott is. He can take a really bad team and make them a lot better. But can he take a good team with all the pieces that had two of us picking them to be in the Super Bowl this year?
Not me.
And they're, at this point, maybe not going to make the playoffs at all.
I think there's
7
also,
teams get in.
I think there are some difficulties.
The ACC.
The
AFC. Yeah.
They would make the playoffs if they were in the ACC.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they
Georgia Tech's a wagon, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, like McDermott, I feel like he's a defense focused guy, right? Like that was how he cut his teeth. I feel like guys like that have a little bit of a struggle, especially when they've got young, sort of reckless quarterbacks. Like that's sort of, it really helps to have that offensive minded head coach, because you can hire a great offensive coordinator, but what do great offensive coordinators do? They get jobs somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Brian Daboll really reined in the worst instincts of Josh Allen and made him into, for at least a year and a half to 2 years, of being a bona fide elite quarterback who avoided turnovers. And then he got a job.
Yeah. I think it's because it's not just great offensive coordinators. It's good offensive coordinators who will get that. When you're looking at defensive coordinators, it's only the great defensive coordinators who get looked at for head coaching jobs. Like, you don't ever see a good defensive coordinator get a head coaching job. So they get to stay with the system, and their defense tends to stay pretty good for several years.
Yeah, and look at the guys. Robert Saleh was a great defensive coordinator for the 49ers. We'll see how long he sticks around as a head coach, but he's had obviously his share of misfortune that wasn't inside his control. But look at D'Amico Ryans, who we're all looking at like, wow, that guy's the real deal. But D'Amico Ryans has also been blessed with a quarterback that just is mature beyond his years, right? Like
Great
C.J. Stroud
around
is,
him.
yeah, he's got good talent, but C.J. Stroud doesn't come in here being reckless.
No.
He's the opposite. He's thrown 2 picks all year.
He just threw them recently.
And yeah, one of the most recent pick was a rookie type pick, but he also came down, didn't let it get in his head. He let a game winning drive after that.
Yep.
Like C.J. Stroud is special. That allows D'Amico Ryans to do what he does best without really having to worry about, okay, do I have to handhold my quarterback, because the quarterback's got it.
But it could
Josh
be
Allen,
a struggle for them over the course of several years if you're talking about potentially having to hire a new offensive coordinator almost every year.
Sure, but again, you would trust Stroud just like the same way that Bill Belichick, he could just trust Tom Brady, right? He had different offensive coordinators, but he's Tom Brady, right?
There were some clowns too, weren't they? With
Charlie
McDaniels,
Weiss, yeah.
Charlie Weiss.
Bill O'Brien, like none of these guys exactly are what you would call, well-represented individuals in the grand scheme of the NFL. Charlie Weiss was awful as did he coach the Chiefs? I think he coached the Chiefs for a little while, and then he coached
at
Notre
Kansas.
Dame. Yeah, and he also coached at Notre Dame. He was terrible there.
Oh, I mean, he was Kansas was the worst football team in all of college football, like all of it.
Yeah, but my point is if you have a quarterback that's constantly getting your coordinators jobs, the most important thing is you still have the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, again, really, really talented and seems like a good dude. Yeah. He's reckless, and you got to have somebody that can really, say, hey, buddy, maybe don't throw it late on third and 15 to the sideline, and if you do, make sure the ball's going to go out of bounds if it's not caught. Hasn't quite mastered that consistently.
No,
So
he has not.
here's the
Or
list of
even
the
inconsistently, honestly.
AFC teams that have 5 losses. So you got the Bills, but you also got the Colts, Raiders, Chargers, Jets, and Broncos. That's the type of
One of these
company
teams is
that
not
that
supposed to be like the others.
that's the kind of company that the Bills are keeping right now.
And they keep losing, right? Like, that's the thing is, it's not like you can just say, oh, they've had some hard luck. They keep losing to these bad teams.
How do you lose to the Broncos?
The Broncos, aren't they like 4-5 now?
The Broncos
Yes,
gave up 70
they're
points in a
4-5.
game.
Yes.
Feels like ancient history. Their defense has legitimately played well the last few weeks.
It's played better. It's
But-
still
And
not good.
It's still not good, and Russ is still bad. So
The Bills' losses are all to AFC teams sort of in this mix as well,
Yeah.
right? They lost to the Jets, Jags, Patriots, Bengals, Broncos. Like, that's...
the Patriots couldn't even beat the Durs at home.
No.
Come on.
They couldn't even beat the Colts in Germany.
I mean, okay.
No.
I didn't expect them
Some
to.
idiot on a podcast picked the Patriots
I
for
didn't
some
expect
reason.
them to beat the Durs either.
I did. I had that one.
You nailed that one. All right, so that's all we really have as far as news around the league. We'll do some. I guess we'll do our biggest regrets. Evan, you've already said the Patriots over the Colts.
That was dumb.
Yeah, I agree. Corey, Jets over Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. That was dumb.
I mean,
It was dumb.
you were probably thinking the Raiders are bad.
I was,
Which is
I
That's a fair
lost
take.
sight of the fact that the Jets are also bad. That was just a putrid game.
Wasn't that on Sunday Night
It
Football?
was Sunday Night Football.
I thought we could flex games out. I
Have
don't.
any games been flexed at all?
No, not at all. It's been disaster. My biggest regret for me, probably, I don't really look back and see too much, but I guess I would say I regret the Falcons over the Cardinals, mainly because I didn't actually think Kyler Murray was going to play football.
Oh, you didn't think he was going to play?
My
I
assumption,
knew he was going to play.
My assumption was they're going to shut him down because they want to tank. And they didn't. And he went out there, and while he wasn't spectacular by any means, he was better than whatever other loser they would have had out there, and he made some plays.
Josh Dobbs or something.
But Josh Dobbs was actually good, but they got rid of him.
Yeah.
You know,
The thing is, the reason I knew that he was going to play is because this is not Cliff Kingsbury as the coach. Cliff Kingsbury would be the type of person to, designate him for his return from from injured reserve, open up that practice window, but then never actually play him and let the practice window close and let him stay on IR for the rest of the season. Not this new guy. So I knew that he was going to play.
Cliff Kingsbury's the worst coach in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I still say, though, he's elite at being rich.
yes,
He's tremendous at being a rich guy.
good for him.
All right, Evan, your biggest success story somehow was picking Washington. So,
Who did they even
congratulations.
play?
They played the Seahawks.
Oh yeah.
What an absolutely what are you doing, Seattle? It was 3 big touchdown plays that sunk them. They gave up 3 big plays that they had no business giving up. That the Durs had no business making.
Yeah, the jabronis on Washington, just these guys.
Pissed me
what-
off.
what-
I had the
what is going
Seahawks
on?
defense all lined up, expecting a big game from them. But no. They just have to give up 1 touchdown, then another touchdown, then another touchdown. Mm-hmm. And let Sam Howell just go to town on them.
Yeah, we'll say this. Sam Howell, he can't do pretty much anything right at the quarterback position.
Except for throw for a lot of yards.
He can throw a nice ball sometimes. When he sets his feet,
When he actually has protection.
he can. Yeah, when he has
That
protection.
was the thing that really frustrated me it was a 3rd and long play where they got the last touchdown over 2 Seahawks defenders. He made a really good throw. I got to give it to him.
He's made several
But it was
throws like
also
that
like
this
the
year.
one play of the drive where the Seahawks only rushed 4 players. This is the worst offensive line maybe in NFL history. This guy is on target to get sacked like 100 times this season.
Is it even the worst offensive line in the history of this franchise? Because they've had some bad ones, dude.
This is the worst. It is that bad. And that is not an exaggeration.
Okay.
And yet you guys decide not to rush an extra defender here. Just give him time in the pocket. Let him set his feet. Oh, my God, man. That was frustrating.
It sounds like it. Okay, Corey. Let's rev you back down. What was your most successful pick or most proud pick?
You have Arizona over
I
Arizona.
I don't know what that is. It was my pick of Arizona over Atlanta. Like I knew exactly where that was going. How it played out was pretty much how it played out in my head, other than Taylor Heineke getting injured and
Heineke.
Desmond Ridder getting a rushing touchdown while
And-
being started against me in fantasy football.
And
What is
beating-
happening here?
Okay, so that clearly didn't have the effect I had hoped of getting you back in good spirits.
No, it did not.
I apologize. Maybe you should have written down a different game. Okay, so I didn't really have much of I don't think I had a single lone wolf pick, let
you
alone
did not.
success. So I don't really have anyone that stands out too much. I feel pretty good about what happened with the Texans though, just because I'm loving me some CJ Stroud, man.
He's tremendous. Oh, my goodness.
Like I will gladly take the L and be wrong about his status as when we were doing the draft podcast. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be this good, and
I had him as my number 1 quarterback.
Same.
I didn't see. I'll take the L on that one.
Who did you have instead? Bryce
Bryce
Young?
Young.
Oh,
I had Bryce Young.
okay.
That wasn't crazy, but-
No.
Most people had. Most
Yeah.
people had Bryce Young.
Including-
including
the
the Panthers. And how's that working out? But I've rectified that by poaching him off of Steven's taxi squad and putting it on mine. So I'm happy about that. So I guess I'll go with them. Because I feel like that was more impressive win by the Texans than the Bengals blowing it. Like that was just CJ
Texans
Stroud
were leading the whole game.
Yeah, CJ Stroud balled out. Like, what can you say? This dude's a stud. Most surprising, Corey, you got nothing. Honestly, I've got nothing. Evan, what do you got?
I said the Jaguars. I thought they would, be competitive with the 49ers.
I'm starting to question them a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I am too. We're like, what is the problem? I thought y'all had turned the corner,
Apparently
gotten,
not.
unmired from the abyss of suckitude, right? But no, they're just we're just going to be at home and play against a West Coast team at 1:00 East Coast time and just get rolled. Like, what? How does this happen?
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. Are we sure that Trevor Lawrence is like good?
Well, he's on the bench on my fantasy team now, so
Like, are we sure he's actually like?
I'm
having issues.
I've had questions about it basically since his rookie year, and like there have been moments where he has a stretch of a couple of games, maybe even 3 games in a row where he plays well, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's actually good.
Like, he's coming, right? Like, that's,
But I have never once gotten to the point, like it's never lasted long enough for me to get to the point where yeah, Trevor Lawrence arrived. He is that guy. He is going to be a starter worthy quarterback for years to come. I have never gotten to a point where I view him as somebody who I can see being an NFL starter for, a decade.
I thought as soon as he washed himself of the Urban Meyer stench that he would just turn the corner and just be as good as
That's what I thought
we
would
sort
happen.
of expected. But like
Instead,
that
the best
hasn't happened yet.
player on that team by far is Travis Etienne.
Your boy.
Yeah.
He is my boy.
I mean, like, it's just, to me, in this version of the NFL, I've said it before and I will stick by it. I think the quarterbacking in general is low quality.
It's very low quality.
And I consider that at all levels. I consider that, in the elite
We've been
ranks as well.
spoiled, right?
Like the
Brady
only,
and
yeah.
Manning and Drew Brees
And Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The fact that Tony Romo was a guy we made fun of and said, that guy's not elite. Tony Romo would be the second best quarterback in football right now if he was in his prime. He'd be behind Patrick Mahomes, that would be it.
And
So-
even like if you look at Patrick Mahomes, like
He hasn't been as good this
He
year.
has not been as consistent over the past couple of years. And granted, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill, but still.
He's got jabronis to throw to.
Yeah.
What
and Travis
about
Kelce.
what if like defenses are catching up? Is that a thing that could be happening?
It's
I don't
possible.
think it is.
I don't think so
but
either,
the thing
but-
with defenses is that they tend to catch up one year, and then offenses tend to take a step forward the next year. It doesn't feel like offenses are taking that step forward over the past few years, and I think that a lot of that is on the quarterbacks. I think it's the low quality of quarterback play is preventing offenses from making that adjustment back to take that step ahead of the defenses where they have to make the adjustment to catch back up.
I have a theory that sort of the structure of the NFL, namely the CBA and the rookie scale contracts, plays a role here. In that the fact that you draft a quarterback in the first round, you've got him for 4 to 5 years at relatively depressed value, right? Like he's usually not being paid as much as, especially if he's good. A lot of teams see that as their window to win, right? So what they do is, I think, on one case, they're not patient with these guys, and number two, they simplify these offenses so that they can more easily transition into the NFL, but then they don't actually expand to the point where, like, you think about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was obviously a tremendous prospect coming out of Florida. Or, sorry, Tennessee. He lost to Florida all the time. Florida owned him, so yeah.
But he had a bad rookie year.
He had a bad rookie year, and then even years 4 and 5 were kind of up and down.
Yeah, he had a really good second year, but then 3, 4, and 5 were.
Yeah, and imagine in today's league where, the microwave society that we live in today, where if Peyton Manning was in year 5, which is option year, okay, he's coming off of another down year relative to, what you consider elite, and that season he lost in the playoffs 41-0, had probably the worst playoff game of his career. You think the Colts are giving him a long-term extension?
No.
That's Peyton Manning we're talking about, though, right? But back then it was understood. Okay, but this guy's the guy. You got to give him time. Next year he wins the MVP.
So
the year after he wins the
being
MVP.
Too hasty to potentially write off Trevor Lawrence?
Probably, but the thing is, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to have an issue getting a contract from the Jaguars. They're not going to have any choice. Like, he's good enough that they're going to say, okay, well, we got to invest
else
in
are
this
they
guy.
gonna get?
But my point is, like, there doesn't seem to be that consistent effort of, okay, let's make this guy play in an offense that becomes his, right? It just doesn't feel like that anymore, and it's not really happening. Like, it feels like the only ones that really do that are the guys that really go out of their way to take the ownership of it, like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, obviously he had Andy Reid, that's great, but Mahomes is exceptional.
It's created something that feels like an inferior product than what we grew up
Yeah,
watching.
that's just that.
I never thought that I would ever be the back in my
back
day
in my
guy.
day type of guy,
Turning into a
but I
curmudgeon.
do think there is something to
NBA
it.
players back in the day were way tougher than now.
Yeah, like Draymond Green's out here choking people, so But like I'm just saying, I feel like there's something's been lost with that level of patience that there used to be because you had to have it back then. Now the expectation is you better be winning, contending for Super Bowls by year 3 or 4, or else we're gonna find somebody else.
But I think some of that is not just because of the rookie pay scale. I think some of it is also because you understand that the quarterback is going to command,
Sure,
$250 million.
Yeah, it's such a big investment, too.
They're going to command between a quarter and a third of your salary cap, basically.
Yeah. So, but it's also that gap though. The fact is we don't have to pay him much yet, and then we have to pay him a ton later. Whereas before it's like, yeah, we got to pay him a ton later, but we also got to pay him a ton now, so might as well see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the issue, but that's never going to change because the owners are like, we're making money hand over fist here. We're paying people below market value for 4 years. We're not going to give that up. So anyway, we've ranted enough about how much we hate football, even though we watch it every week. Let's do a little best and worsts, I guess. It's all the way at the bottom right. Here we go. Best quarterback of the week, Dak Prescott, who has been brilliant lately.
Your boy.
Yeah, my boy indeed. Carried me to 2 fantasy wins this week.
Playing against the Giants, though.
But
he was not good against the Giants in week 1.
Well,
he didn't have to be.
I know he didn't have to be.
Yeah, but this week I thought the same thing was going to happen, and he kept scoring
1.
touchdowns. But he's been great the last month. Like, he's been legitimately playing high-level football.
He's probably been the best quarterback in the NFC for the past month.
I agree. Corey has made sure to note his boy Jared Goff was number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hassle the Goff.
Number 2?
Yep.
Nobody calls me that.
All right, so then the worst, the aforementioned Trevor Lawrence had a terrible week against the 49ers, and I feel like Corey just wanted to kick dirt on Bryce Young. He threw him in there at number 29 with a -105 DYAR for the week.
They were 30 qualified.
All right. Running backs by total, Brian Robinson. Good for him. Had a nice game.
Yeah, he did.
And then Jaleel McLaughlin. Is he the Broncos' second
Broncos.
running back? Yeah, I was getting mad when Javonte wasn't getting snaps. Like, who's this goofball? Get him out of here.
Yeah, he started a couple of games earlier this season.
Yeah, so McLaughlin overtook Tony Pollard on Monday Night Football. Pollard was the previous loser of the week. Again, appreciated that because I wanted to pass Steven, and it helped.
Yes, it did.
All right, so that's it. And then for just rushing, Jonathan Taylor, we got a 3-way tie, I guess.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Warren, and Jerome Ford each had 40 rushing DYAR. Christian McCaffrey was next with 39. And the worst was Breece Hall with -33. He didn't help me much.
No.
But that's okay. All right, wide receivers / tight ends. Your boy Amon-Ra, the Sun God, 92 DYAR. That's a hell of a day, dude.
That's a great day for
Huge
a
for a
position
receiver.
player.
Yeah, that's fat. And then the worst one was Rashid Shaheed, my boy.
Yes.
-39 DYAR. That was no good. So
Throw it to Olave.
I don't remember. I didn't pay that much attention.
Olave.
More Olave. I love it. All right, so before we negotiate who our picks to eliminate are, we have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of because you fellas tied.
In fact,
We all three of us tied, but I didn't fill out a bracket.
Well,
so.
neither did he, but I was like so far off on that I figured it like we would just use our normal tiebreaker, which is that both of us got a lone wolf pick. You did not.
Okay, fair enough.
We will be either the first or second person
Okay.
to eliminate a team.
All right.
So we have a tiebreaker that you have prepared for us, and you have not told us anything about so far.
That's the whole point.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. So normally the tiebreakers are handled by Evan.
Yes.
So I'm taking it in his vein.
He's in third in those situations.
Well, no, because y'all do the Super
It's usually
Bowl
the Super
props.
Bowl,
Oh,
the
sure,
Super Bowl
that's it,
props,
yeah,
and that's just a straight up. We need a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And so, in the vein of Evan, I've decided to make this tiebreaker all about me.
Of course.
So,
what else would you do?
So your question, and you both need to text me. So prepare to text me.
Okay.
You need to answer this question as accurately as possible, and whoever is the closest will win the tiebreaker.
Okay.
On what date did I take my first dance lesson at Arthur Murray Silver Spring?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Let's see.
You just text it to me. Don't say it out
You're
loud.
being all shady about it for like 2 years, so
Not that long.
yeah, all embarrassed or something.
All right. A lot of dead air here while we got some individuals.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
I sent one to you. I sent it to you.
Okay, I've got Corey's.
Let me see.
Jeez, I'm going to have to work hard on this.
Got some more dead air.
Way off. You know?
Oh, jeez.
Let's see.
Hopefully
I'm
Evan will
gonna
get closer
say
so I can just call it. See, I have to do some math. Like, oh, geez.
He's going to be exactly the same amount on the other side of it.
here's your boarding pass from our trip a couple weeks ago. Let me see.
That's not what I asked you for.
No, it isn't.
Going through pictures to try and see.
No, it's just the last thing I texted him.
All right, Evan, we need a response.
Let me see.
Like, soon.
I just try not to overthink it. I just put something in there.
All right, well,
All right.
if you're playing guess the lines, Evan's got a big window of opportunity.
Oh,
here.
does he? Oh, geez.
It's significant, yes.
There we go. That's my guess.
Oh, jeez. Y'all are both way off, but Corey wins.
Yes.
Evan guessed January 1st, 2014, which they wouldn't be open on New Year's Day, so I don't know why you picked that day.
To pick a day.
Okay,
You
well-
get closer.
Maybe he thought that I was going to put December 31st, 2013.
Well, Corey did not. Corey put June 12th, 2015, which is obviously closer because the correct date was October 13th, 2016. You were off by more than a year.
Okay.
You were off by almost 3. So
I'm actually okay with that because I had absolutely no idea what time of year it was. So I just picked a day that was in the middle of the year, and then I couldn't remember if it was 15 or 16. I knew it was one of the 2 years.
I was shocked that Evan said 15.
I just went with the earlier one because you were a little bit shady about it, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I knew how long you had been shady.
You should have realized
Keeping
that
it a
this is-
secret for 2 years.
No, for a month tops.
It was years.
It was a month.
It was a long time.
You're like,
because
I
I'm
have
doing
a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
It's just
I did not know what a thing was for quite some time. It
I
was
know.
more than a
Years.
month.
I know it was not years.
It was more than a
It
month.
was not years though, and you should have known at least that this happened after the infamous Thanksgiving fight, which that happened in 2015 in November. So that was well after that.
Honestly, I didn't even remember what year that fight was anymore.
I do, because I had the best line of it, and I wasn't even one of the guys.
I should
fighting.
remember just because it was the 3rd year of our fantasy league.
And I was just trying to
So
have
you
Thanksgiving with my family.
You started in the middle of your championship season.
Yeah, it was.
That's why he kept going. Because
It was-
he realized that he had to keep going, otherwise he would never win another title. But
I haven't
hasn't
won
worked
another
so
title
far.
since then.
It hasn't worked
I
so
won my
far.
other league and I made money, and I won the baseball league. So
there you go.
I picked up a couple other trophies here and there. But yeah, that was a tumultuous year for your boy. A lot of ups and downs. Anyway, Corey, you have now won the tiebreaker, so you get to choose first. I will tell the crowd who you've already eliminated because it's my job as the host, and I don't want to make you have to do it all the time. Corey has eliminated the Cardinals, the Titans, the Bears, the Giants, the Broncos, the Panthers, the Raiders, the New England Patriots, the LA Rams, and the New York Football Jets.
And we're gonna add the 3 and 6 Green Bay Packers.
Packers are done. Okay,
That's a good pick.
that is a good pick. Okay, Evan, you are up next. You have eliminated the Colts, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Bears, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Giants, the Titans, the Broncos, and the Rams. Who you got?
Have I eliminated the Titans yet? Did you say that?
Yeah, I
Yes.
said them. Yeah.
You eliminated them 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can't pick them then. What about the Rams?
You did them
You
last
just
week.
did that last
Oh,
week.
jeez. All right, keep scrolling up the standings here. Corey just picked the Packers.
Yes.
They would be a good choice.
They would be,
Well, so
but they're not available.
one of these teams needs to get voted off the island here.
I had 2 other options. Somewhere.
I-
And both of them are available for all 3 of us. So,
Really?
Yes.
Kind of racking my brain right now.
Yeah. Give me. Let's see. Ooh. Give me Washington.
That was one of
The
them.
Manders are done. I was considering them as a
They're
choice.
0-3 in their division.
Yeah, and they're just coming off a loss. That makes sense. Okay, who do I have left to do here?
So Eric has eliminated the Rams, Panthers, Texans, Broncos, Patriots, Giants, Vikings, Cardinals, Jets, and last week the Bears.
Okay, so let me just do a quick count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NFC teams I've already eliminated.
Yeah.
And I'm really terrified of the friggin' Vikings now. Like, what is happening? I got rid of them when Cousins got hurt, and now they're 2-0 since then. Boy, who am I going to get rid of? I got to pick somebody that...
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I know. I can't just punt. Broncos country, let's punt. I've already eliminated them.
Yeah.
Let me do... Yeah, I'll go ahead and eliminate the Raiders.
All right. So we've all eliminated them now.
The Raiders.
Yeah. They're 5-5 somehow.
All right.
Okay, so that does it for our eliminated team. So let's get to our Week 11 picks. Thursday Night Football.
Oh, quick shout out to James Daly for winning the fan contest last week.
There you go. Thank you, Corey, for that.
He's won 3 weeks in a row. He's got 75 points on the season, which is still ahead of Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we do relegation where we replace a host if they lose? Because that would be something.
That would be something.
All right, Thursday Night Football. Bengals at your boys, the Ravens, Evan. Y'all are favored by 3.5.
Yeah, and Evan has already teased us with who he's going to be picking.
Penciling in the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm also on the Bengals for this one. It's a division matchup. The Ravens, I think, are more than 3.5 points better than the Bengals, but the Ravens are coming off a really bad performance, so I don't necessarily trust them. And this is a division game, which tends to get kind of weird, especially in the AFC North. So, I'm going with the Bengals here as well.
I am going to lone wolf this one right off the bat. I'm going to take the Ravens to cover this line. No T. Higgins. Does that matter? Maybe, maybe not. Jamar Chase did not look himself this week either. He looked like he was still uncomfortable with his rib injury.
He still had a really big play.
He's supposed to dominate the whole game.
Sure.
So who are the stud receivers that the Ravens got toasted by this past Sunday then?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
David Njoku.
He was looking like Peyton Hillis out there. Just big guy, just bowling people over.
Hey, he was on the Madden cover.
Because of that game?
Yeah. All right. Sunday night at 1 p.m. Cowboys.
Sunday night at 1 p.m.
I'm sorry, Sunday afternoon. All right. 1 p.m. Cowboys, 10.5-point favorites at Panthers. The Cowboys are coming off of a curb stomping of the Giants for the second time this year.
And now they get a slightly harder matchup.
Is this a harder matchup?
Yeah.
The Giants have a worse DVOA significantly than the Panthers.
The Giants are garbage.
They are. They're starting Tommy DeVito, who lives at home.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Wasn't he undrafted?
And the Panthers are garbage.
What do I care if he's undrafted? He's making NFL money.
But I mean,
Get an apartment.
He wasn't guaranteed to make NFL money. That's a rent and don't buy situation.
So rent. Don't live
I
at
was talking
home.
to Sean about this week, and apparently it's a thing in Italian culture for like the mom to do everything for the son until the son gets married.
I used to watch Goodfellas. I guess that is true. Anyway, Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm on
Dallas
Cowboys.
Rolls.
This is an easy one.
He doesn't even have a fun Italian name like Ben DiNucci. Come on. All right, Steelers at Browns. Steelers are 1.5-point favorites at Cleveland. Remember, Cleveland doesn't have Deshaun Watson. They don't have P.J. Walker anymore either. Or maybe they do, and they just don't even plan on playing him.
Yeah,
so
I'm
they're
taking
starting,
the Browns.
They're starting DTR. Corey's taking the Browns.
What?
Yeah, easy pick for me.
Easy pick for Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Evan loves the Steelers. Are you picking the Steelers?
I think it's an easy pick the other way. What?
Boy.
You think Dorian Thompson-Robinson is gonna, just be dealing against the ferocious Steelers defense?
There's only one ferocious defense on the field this week, and it's
Yes,
Cleveland.
that is-
Oh, that's true.
So
The Steelers have a good defense, but the Browns' defense is so good, and the Steelers' offense is so bad. The Browns have to score more points than the Steelers score in this game.
they don't even have to because they can just tie and they win.
That's true.
And lose by 1 and they win. So
Yeah.
there you go. Get a safety and lose 3-2. Cover the line.
So who are you leaving on the Lonely Island, Eric?
Evan, because
Oh, okay.
I'm taking the Browns.
All right.
Myles Garrett will get a touchdown by himself in this game. And that'll be enough.
I think he's going to get 2.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like Paul O'Neill hitting 2 homers for
Yeah.
that kid in Seinfeld.
Yes.
One of them was a triple with an error, so it doesn't count. So he had to catch the ball in his hat the next game. All right. Bears at Lions.
Thank you.
Your boy, the Lions, Corey. 8.5-point favorites against the Bears.
Yeah, 8.5 is a lot. It's not enough.
I
The Lions.
agree. Lions.
Lions.
Yeah. Not playing around here. Lions offense is a wagon. The Bears, I don't know what they are.
The Bears couldn't
Not
cover,
very good.
Couldn't
The
cover
Bears are
3
the
points.
wagon that overturned for Oklahoma against.
The Conestoga.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, the Bears couldn't cover a 3-point line at home against the Panthers last week. How are they going to cover 8.5 on the road against a wagon of a team? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, plus they just suck. Chargers are favored by 3 at the Packers.
Ugh.
Just eliminated the Packers. Going back to last year, fade the pack. Give me
Fading the
Bolts.
pack. All right. I agree. Which I hate because it's the Chargers.
Yeah,
but-
I don't like not fading the Bolts either.
Yeah.
I've
gotta-
been fading both of these teams all year. Can I pick the push here?
If you want, but if they don't, you'll lose. But I will give you the win. If you actually predicted a push and nailed it, I would give you the win.
I am extremely tempted, but I'm going to stick with.
You're not
I'm
gonna
going to
do
stick
that.
with the Chargers.
All right, Evan, what do you got?
Packers.
Wow.
Why?
The Chargers are the other team playing in this game. That's why.
Yeah.
Have you
Packers
watched
are
the
the other
Packers
team
all
in this
year and last year too? Matt
No,
Matt LaFleur might be also,
I mean,
Grim
this-
Reaper might become for him.
This is the type of game that the Chargers should dominate, but they're
They
going to
won't.
mess around.
They
and,
won't,
you
but
know,
they
do
might
a bunch
win
of
by
stuff.
3.
Right.
All right.
Outside, what's the Green Bay weather looking like?
Cardinals at Texans. Texans are favored by 4.5 at home.
Not even close to enough. Give me the
That's
Texans.
insane. Yeah, give me the Texans.
Like I get that Kyler Murray is back, but y'all
don't
respecting him a
care.
little too much with that line.
Cardinals are bad,
They
man.
are bad.
Evan, what do you got?
I don't know. Texans, because they're fun. And I'm tired of the Cardinals too. They've been in the league for over a
100
century
years,
now
yeah.
and just been terrible
Ass.
the whole
Yeah,
time.
absolute horse. Something. Didn't quite do it, but you know,
Close.
getting close. Yeah.
They had a year there with our guy Kurt Warner.
A year where they didn't even win
Oh.
the championship. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say from the 1930s or 40s.
They
or
did win a
something.
championship
They
like
did.
during the Depression.
That's
yeah.
true.
I thought they won one when black people weren't allowed to play in those
Yeah.
12 years.
Yes,
That was during the
Depression.
Oh, okay, that's true.
All right. Titans at Jaguars. Jaguars are 7-point favorites at home. I'm going to go first. I'll take this one. I'm taking Tennessee. Well, I saw Corey's first, but I already knew that I was
Yeah.
picking the Titans. So the Jaguars have been underwhelming. 7 points is a lot. Will Levis has actually played pretty well.
And it's a division game.
It's a division game. Vrabel's a coach, right? Like we were like he's not Brandon
So is
Staley.
Doug Peterson. He is a coach.
I think I like Vrabel as he's a better coach than Doug Peterson at this point.
Maybe, which is disappointing because I picked Doug Peterson as my coach of the year instead of my boy Man Campbell. What was I thinking?
Well, I picked Man Campbell, so I'm sorry. Although I think the curse has been lifted.
I think it has.
You can say
He's-
thank you to
he's
Willie
safe at this
Green.
point.
And Brandon Staley. He's the one that killed me.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Of all the people. All right, Evan, who do you got?
I don't even know. What?
Titans
Jaguars
at
minus
Jags.
Oh, jeez. I don't want
You
either
already
of these
picked
teams.
these. I thought you already picked these games.
No, I didn't.
You said you were going through before the show picking the games.
Oh, well, I didn't do that. Titans, I guess, with little confidence.
All right. Raiders at Dolphins. Dolphins are laying 12.5. That is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. Coming off a bye. Might be getting Achane back this week.
Mm-hmm. Go for it, Corey. You know you want to.
Give me the Fins.
Corey's taking the Fins and
So
laying
am I.
12.5.
Dolphins.
That makes it a clean
The
sweep.
Raiders stink.
The Raiders are really bad. Their defense isn't that good. Their offense.
I like Antonio Pierce though.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should keep him just like they should have kept Pit Boss Rich 2 years ago, and they didn't do it. So
Yeah. Well, Josh McDaniels is available now, so they might go hire him.
again, and pay him twice because they're still going to be paying him for a long time.
Wouldn't surprise me. They'd do a bunch of dumb stuff over there.
Giants at Durs. Commanders are favored by 9.5.
Give me DeVito.
I can't do that. I just can't.
Really?
No.
9.5?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I can't.
You can't lay that.
I can't
many
lay
points.
9.5
That's way
on the
too much.
Commandos
That's way too much.
against anybody. They could be playing, the Sisters of the Weak and Hopeless. I wouldn't care.
Yes.
Yeah, give me the Giants.
Mitch Albom would say that all the time.
I don't know who that is.
You don't?
No.
Oh, he was on not Meet the Press, but the sports reporters all the time.
The Sports Reporters was on Sunday mornings or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch ESPN on Sunday mornings. I was usually hungover.
Oh, I mean, this was like well before we were of drinking age.
Yeah, what's your point?
Was probably
I was also not waking up on Sunday mornings watching ESPN. I was watching cartoons when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So
No,
there's that. Evan, who do you got? Ben DiNucci.
I mean,
But
he's
except
not
not
playing
him.
in this game either.
No,
No,
he's
he's
not. He
not.
should be. I think he won XFL MVP.
He did.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
DiNucci.
I think Washington's going to win, but 9.5.
That's what I'm saying, though.
That's
That's
a
the
lot,
exercise.
right? The Giants are real stinky, but
They're really stinky.
the Washington they play down to their competition
And
or
may
play
I
up to
may
it.
I point out to you that the Giants own this team. They beat them earlier this year.
Yeah.
So I just told you who to pick.
Yeah, I'll know next one.
But
Giants.
okay,
I
you
got
gotta
Giants.
say it.
I thought I said the Giants.
No, you didn't.
kind of
Oh,
just
okay.
muddled
Well,
around it.
I meant the Giants, and now say it.
There you go.
Los Gigantes.
Someone's got to say it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Buccaneers at 49ers. The 49ers are at home in Santa Clara laying 11.5 points. That is a lot. Evan, I'm going to make you go first because you're always the one holding up the show. So
Oh, okay. Tampa Bay. I don't like what I've seen of the 49ers. Like, they're supposed to have this elite defense and stuff, but where it at, though? Right? Like, what is going on? So, I think Baker's going to wake up feeling dangerous.
is he though?
I mean, I don't
I mean, it's Nick Bosa revenge game again from Ohio State, Oklahoma.
know. Oh. Okay. Well,
He
whatever.
hates Baker.
My sister still hates Baker because of the flag.
And if
thing.
your sister was playing defensive end, I'd be worried about Baker for that reason too. So,
No, I'm staying with it, Bucks,
all right.
within 11.5.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
The Jags defense, which is a good defense, could not slow down the 49ers offense in this game.
Nope.
Debo is back. And when you have all of the weapons, you got Debo, you got Christian, you got Brandon, you got George. And you have all four of them. This offense is unstoppable. I would take the 49ers if they were laying 21.5. This is the easiest pick of the week for me. 49ers.
Easiest pick of the week. I agree. I'm taking the 49ers. I hate the Bills. Jets at Bills.
The Jets, too.
This might be the second easiest pick of the week. I'm taking the Jets +7.
I didn't even get a chance to say it. Corey's just so enthusiastic to pick the Jets to cover this line.
I'm so enthusiastic to pick against the Bills.
Fair enough. Same thing in this case, but
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, Jets at Bills. Bills are at home, laying a tutter and the extra point to the Jets. Evan, who you got?
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, the Bills.
I think they
huh?
bounce back, right? They
better.
They were,
Running out of time.
They are, and they already lost to the Jets.
That's
So,
true. That was pathetic.
So am I going to get my first lone wolf here, or is Evan going to get number 4 of the week?
I feel bad putting him on the lonely island left and right, especially given that he's trailing so badly. But
He needs to get it right then.
Yeah, that's true.
We're giving him opportunities.
I mean, this is why I'm trailing, is keep getting the games wrong.
that's how it works. I'm going to take the Bills as well.
oh.
I'm going to regret. This is going to be my regret of the week. Just pencil it in there now. Like, this is the regret pick of the week. This is stupid. I even considered picking the Broncos last week, but I talked myself out of it because the Broncos have just been so bad, and I was just like, then the game started, and I saw how it was going. I was like, the Bills ain't covering this line, not by a damn sight. And then they lost the game.
Yeah.
Seahawks are favored by 1 on the road at SoFi against the Rams. Do we have a status on Stafford?
I can try and find it real quick. Let's see.
I'm assuming based on this line that he's probably going to play.
That
'cause
was
if-
my understanding.
if not,
he's not
then-
even on the injury report. He practiced in full today, so
Okay, well-
he's good to go.
Okay, so that makes more sense. If you told me Stafford wasn't going to play, I'd be like, well, I'm going to lay that 1 point. But with that being the case, I'm still going to lay the 1 point. I'll take the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I got the Rams. Like, I don't like what I saw out of Seattle's defense. Right? They got run up and down the field by Washington
Happens.
at home.
Happens.
Does it though?
The Durs have had their moments offensively this year.
Where
yeah.
was that in New Jersey against the Giants like a month ago?
I told you the Giants own them.
That's unacceptable. Yeah, Rams.
My concern here is with the Rams defense. They have one good player, and that's it. The rest of their defense has been horrid this year.
I mean, the Seahawks defense is bad too.
That is kind of true. Seahawks
Yeah.
have had their moments on defense.
Yeah,
Here and there.
Not last week.
or the
No,
week before
I'm
that.
pretty sure I
Not
cut
when-
them
not when it
from my
mattered.
fantasy team after that.
Sunday Night Football. Vikings at Broncos on prime time again. I mean, I realize that there are so many bad teams that somebody's got to play in these games, but Sunday Night Football is supposed to be the prestige game of the week.
How are
Yeah,
we not
like-
flexing these games?
Right, like Monday and Thursday, okay,
we
I can
are
stomach
allowed.
What game would you flex in to Sunday Night Football?
it. Flex the Monday night game into Sunday Night Football.
Well,
How
you
about
can't
that?
do that. So you have to pick somebody else.
Okay.
You can flex Monday night games now too. They made that announcement coming into the season, so you can switch
But
things
ESPN's
around.
gotta
But you would
agree to
still
that.
need to put something in the Monday night game slot. So like,
Yeah.
and I think that it has to be one of the 4:00 games that you would flex to Sunday night. So I would do the Bucks 49ers. I would flex that one to Sunday night.
Sure.
I would also take Seahawks Rams over Vikings
Seahawks,
Broncos.
Rams. I would take Jets, Bills over this. This is garbage.
I don't know. I've had enough of the Jets on prime time.
That's a good point. I've had enough of the Bills in general. So, all right. Anyway, the Vikings are at Denver. Denver is laying 2.5.
I forgot about this one. This one is actually easier than the 49ers. Why are the Broncos favored at all? This is absolutely ridiculous. Give me Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs is playing good ball,
And
and
Jefferson might be back this week.
but Ewing theory.
That's true. They did not win a single game with him in the lineup.
They
Or no, they won one
4.
game. They won one game with him in the lineup, and they're 5-0 since
then.
he's been hurt.
That said, I'm going Vikings too.
Yeah, skull.
Right? You know, I mean, Broncos country. Let's pick
That's
against the
the
Broncos.
first game since the 1:00 games that Evan and I agreed on. 4:00 windows can be very interesting for us.
Yep.
All right, so clean sweep on the Vikings.
All right, Monday Night Football. Eagles at Chiefs. Game of the week for sure, bar none. Eagles are getting 2.5 at Arrowhead. Who
I
you
like
got?
Philly. Getting points. The Chiefs, you know, they aren't that good, right? Like who do they have catching the ball? Sky Moore and
Travis Kelce.
okay, other than him.
That's
He-
all they've really
he's-
needed.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
According to DVOA,
Oh boy.
the Chiefs are better on offense, way better on defense, and they're slightly better on special teams. Better in all three phases of the game. They're playing at home, and they're only getting 2.5 points. I'm taking the Chiefs.
All those stats are great, Corey, and I love them.
Yeah.
But this is a vibes pick, baby. I'm riding with the Eagles.
All right.
I don't know why. Maybe this will be my.
This might also be your regret. I think the other one would be a bigger regret.
I agree. Because this game could
What
go either
were
way.
you thinking
This is a great
taking
game,
the Bills?
especially after last week and the week before.
And probably before that.
I've taken the Bills a lot this year, and early in the season I didn't because I was like, I don't trust them, and then they were blowing teams out. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I should trust them again. Nah, that's over. Except for this week.
Oh, that's what you get for, you know, getting new information and letting it change your mind, right? Like,
Yeah, like you're
should have
supposed
just
to do.
stuck with what you thought months ago.
Hey, man, certain people have done that forever. You know? They seem to be happy. You know, they're not right about stuff, but they're happy. So
Yeah,
I guess that's good
blissfully
enough.
ignorant.
All right, so that does it for our Week 11 picks. Do we have any late breaking news or Woj bombs that I haven't taken care of? Anything?
I doubt it.
Evan's not looking at anything, it seems. He's just
well, I
milling
was-
around something.
I was trying to see the alerts. Corey, you're on PlayStation Network, apparently. I got that alert, but nothing else.
Corey, anything?
No.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 260 of the Sports Ballers podcast. You can follow us. I'll start with the Twitter stuff today, or the X. Got to follow us on X, right? We're all about the X, not that X. Or really this X either, but we're still on that.
What?
Corey knows what I'm doing.
I do.
All right. So anyway, you can follow us on Twitter, now called X, at SportsBallers18. You can follow us individually. Corey is at Corey Puffett. I am at Quagmire67. Evan is at Evan_Ash13. You can send us emails, feedback, mailbag questions, whatever you want. We don't care. We'll take it. At, what was it? thesportsballers@gmail.com?
Yes.
That's us, right?
That's us.
I can't seem to find it on here. There it is. Yep, got you now. All right. And you can also get this podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, or Amazon. And if you have a podcatcher of your choice that we are not featured on, let us know and we will do our best to accommodate you. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Do you guys have shout-outs before we roll out of here?
No, because I didn't prepare one ahead of time, and nobody's coming to mind.
Quick shout out to my cross country team. We had our last meet of the season last Thursday out at Bullis. It was a nightmare of a trip getting back because traffic was just awful. But pretty good performance. I was really proud of the effort the guys put in. Really proud of a couple of our athletes in particular, Josiah Jones-Humphrey and Kasapa Mwanza. They both broke 30 minutes in the race. It was the second time for Josiah, but he took off like 2 minutes from his PR, which was fantastic. Kasapa broke 30 for the first time in his career, which was really special. And then also shout out to the DeMatha Stags football team. They won their playoff game against St. John, so they'll be playing in the WCAC Championship next Tuesday.
What?
Yeah, it's a Tuesday night special, the night before our break begins. But they'll be playing at Navy against Good Counsel.
Are we going to that?
I probably will not be. I got to see what my travel plans are for Thanksgiving. I may be heading up that evening.
I got the Terps game that night. So
You're not officiating the game? Or
calling the
coaching it?
game?
Calling it?
I'm none of the above. No.
Playing in it?
Yeah.
You know?
If
Being
I'm
the only member of the
around,
grounds
if I'm
crew?
around, I might get a ticket and go. We'll see. But
What do you have to do to get a ticket? Just show up?
Show
well,
up
I
and
can-
pay
I can-
$10 usually.
I can get one for free.
I should be able to get one for free. I worked some of these games.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, let me in.
Can I get one for free? Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see what I can do if I'm going to be around.
We've spent so much money on other nonsense this year.
That is
I think
true.
you could scrape up $10.
Yes. Hotel Breakers was $1,000.
Telling tales out of school, man. We've got 4 listeners out here that might hear that.
Oh, we have 4 listeners.
I don't know, dude. I'm making stuff up.
Oh, shout out to Chipotle because they sent me a free side of guac for my
Nice.
birthday, and I'm not going to use it. So if somebody wants free guac,
So shout out for nothing, I guess.
yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have anything either. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Evan will be running the show, I guess, next week. Whenever we do it. Next week's Thanksgiving, so we'll have to figure that out. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll take the week off. I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
either
we'll
way,
figure it out.
next time you will hear the dulcet tones of Evan Ash hosting this show, talking about whatever's going on with football and anything else. Until then, take it easy.